and welcome to QEDNG. I am Adanma Mairi and I have with me Olumide Yoda. Thank you very much. We are glad to have you here. So earlier this week, the band made a statement on Instagram saying it's 20 years in the music industry won't be complete without Don Jazzy. What's the significance of this statement he made?
Okay, Adama, thank you once again. So Don Jazzy, the band said that his 20 years journey will not be complete without Don Jazzy. That statement is very significant to the extent that, they both started together 20 years ago, 2004. The world got introduced to the band and Don Jazzy, as it were, at a show in London, Independence Show, 2004. The story of what happened has been captured in Afrobeats, the backstory by Ayo Shonaya, but I can quickly say that day, they were both on stage. They found themselves on stage that day, and the band sang three songs. Tongolo, Ask Me, and Mobolo. The band did that. He had Queen Onokala on stage. Soon after that, both of them were convinced to come to Nigeria. And when they came to Nigeria, the Nigerian music scene was never the same again. They practically took over, and they started more hits in 2006. Since then, fast forward to 2012, when they finally broke up, more hits was mega hits. In fact, you could call it the Nigerian version of Motown. You had the likes of Dr. Seed, Wande Cole, the Prince, who else was there now? The band and Don Jazzy. Then they broke up in 2012. And now the band is launching another album, and is celebrating 20 years. So it is only natural that he will say, okay, look, my brother, my story is incomplete. And before he even made the post you referenced this week, I think sometime in April, he made a post in which he practically apologized to everybody that he could have offended. He mentioned members of Moit. He said that if he has offended anybody, they should forgive him. After that, he has appeared in a number of pictures and videos with Don Jazzy. One picture had Don Jazzy's dad. That's the man they call Grandpa Mavin. They both appeared in videos with, Mr. Macaroni. They've also appeared in a picture with Idris Olorunibe. I think that's his name, the owner of Temple Management Company and all of that. So it is very significant that given what the band wants to do, the celebration that he wants to do, that he references Don Jazzy, because both of them have not been the same since 2012. But in the last 2 months, we've seen both of them appeared together more times than they have since 2012 when they went their separate ways.
So regarding the split and Moit 2012, would you say they are better off apart?
And definitely they are not better off apart. Well, if you ask me, I don't think they are better off apart. Those of us who knew them, of course, maybe I'm also saying that because of sentiment.
Okay.
They did well together as partners in Moit. They were turning out hit after hit. And you see, there's this X factor that Don Jazzy has. And if you ask me, I'm not too sure if the band has found another producer with that X factor since Moit split. That is not to say that both of them have not made a success of their solo careers or what they've gone on to do. Shortly after the split, in fact, it would appear as if they gave the world a parting gift in Oliver Twist, because I think Don Jazzy announced that they were splitting in March 2012. Then the band released Oliver Twist in May. And if you ask a lot of people, they will say to you that Oliver Twist is perhaps the biggest song by the band, because it also went international. It got to #1 on several charts at home and abroad. So they both how have they fared since they both left? They've done well, if you ask me. Don Jazzy, everybody knows, went on to start Maven. I mean, Maven also started in 2012, a few months after they both separated. I mean, Maven started, I mean, it took what was left of Moit. It took Dr. Seed, it took One Day Cole, it took The Prince, and Tiwa Savage joined them. Okay, they released an album called Solar Plexus. One Day Cole left shortly after, and others came on board. You had Ricardo Banks, you had Dija, you had Korede Bello. A lot of people have come on board, and of course, the label keeps getting bigger. Since then, after the first and second set of people, you've had Rema. Now you have Era Star. So to an extent, I mean to a large extent, Don Jazzy has done well. And again, maybe because he was also under the shadow. It will appear as if he was also under the band's shadow while they were together. Not that people weren't seeing Don Jazzy, but Don Jazzy was a man of few words back then. He used to, I mean, he hardly spoke. I remember when I interviewed both of them around 2005, 2006, I could hardly get Don Jazzy to say anything. The band was the entertainer. He was the star of the show. He was the biggest person in Mo It. But after then, Don Jazzy had gone on to become big. I mean, he's become this man that you see everywhere. He's become more, I mean, he speaks a lot more now. I mean, somebody even called him an influencer recently because he jumps on almost what everybody does. So the band himself, it's not as if the band has not done well with his career. After Mo It broke up, he also formed DB Records and he released an album called The Kingsmen or something like that. The Kingsmen also had Oliver Twist, songs like Top of the World, and his brother K-Switch also went with him. He went into business, did a little bit of politics and all of that. But it would appear as if Don Jazzy was bigger. Naturally, they had to come back and do this. People have tried to bring them together in the past. I remember that Senator Ben Bruce, at his 60th birthday in 2016, actually called both of them and said that he wanted both of them to perform. The band went on stage. Don Jazzy was not there. I mean, he was explaining later that he had left. Davido brought all of them together in 2017 at his concert. All of them, they all came together on stage. Don Jazzy, the band, and all of that. So it would appear as if this is a journey that they've been on for a while, because than apart. I don't know if they would have still stayed together if they had not gone their separate ways in 2012. But for me, as a fan, I mean, and a member of the old school, who is old as they say. I mean, I think that they were better together.
Okay, so let's draw our attention back to the video the band posted with the public display of affection. What should we be expecting?
Well, I'm going to try and not expect too much. Because nobody has said anything about them coming together to do anything. But don't forget that the band is celebrating 20 years. So he's using this opportunity. I mean, and like I said, perhaps the best way to start this anniversary is to actually reach out to people like Don Jazzy and try and make peace, as it were. Hurt feelings, frayed nerves, amends that needs to be made. Let us make all, so that we are starting on a fresh note. But for me, I know that the band is using he's also using all of this things to promote his album and his celebration. He's doing free show at the Shrine on Tuesday next week. And he's thinking of worldwide tour later in the year, at the end of the year. I hear that he wants to do 20 shows in 20 states, 20 cities to celebrate 20 years. So he will need Don Jazzy and co. I don't know whether they will eventually come together and do music together. I do not want to project that far. But what we can expect, at least, is that they will move on and we'll see them more together. And who knows, it will be an extra bonus if they actually work together again, do music together, because their fans have always said that at least, to borrow the word of Senator Ben Bruce again, Benmure Bruce, that they owe us at least one song.
Okay. Let me take the last question,
Okay.
please. Last question. So, talking about his 20 years anniversary, if you were to summarize the band and its values in the music industry, how would you summarize it?
Spectacular.
Wow.
I mean, is Mr. Entertainer.
Mr.
And take it from me, very few people, very, very, very few people do it the way the band does. A lot of people now may not know him, but those who knew him when he was on stage will tell you that the band was it, and he is still it.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for your insights, the insights shared. We really appreciate it. And if you want more stories like this, more entertaining stories such as this, remember to follow us on all our social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. I remain at Danma Mairi.